Good morning, all my lovely persons who have signed on and joined my
They're like, how do I, as the individual, start to chime in or know when and where I'm communicating with my higher self? So I figured I would do something very simple and easy and try to make this really short so you guys can clue in. When you're meditating, meaning you're sitting in a very responsive spot, one that you like, it doesn't have to necessarily be the eyes closed and the legs closed, but what I will say is that while you're meditating, and you have to get into a very cozy and comfortable position in order to do this, to realize what's going on. You'll notice that, let's say, for example, you're meditating and you have a thought, and you say to yourself, there's some type of communication coming back to me about the thought processes that I'm having. So let's say, for example, you start to hear things like, what do you think about this position? Are you happiest in this trajectory? Are you looking for something different? A higher self will never tell you yes or no, will never tell you what to do. It'll be more so to do with an overall experience that the higher self is there to guide you alongside and not so much push you. Sometimes the higher self will push you provided that you're asking for the pushing. Like, let's say, for example, you get into these really direct conversations with your higher self. The higher self will say, if this is what you want, then do it. Like, they will say things that are direct. So how does someone like yourself get to know this? Now, when you're meditating and you are in this communication, and that's how you would identify the communication, is the fact that the conversation is not guided towards telling you what to do. If somebody is telling you what to do, then that's probably a lower ended density being, because the telling is coercion. The telling is pushing you into a direction that is not necessarily guided by yourself. Okay, it's guided by an external. So I would really look out for that. But if you do feel like the two-way conversation you are having is one of a pleasantry and one of no rhetoric that pushes you in either direction, I would say that's your higher self. Now, if you are in this communication, and if you are feeling like you're comfortable in this communication, the next step, I will honestly say, to knowing that it's your higher self all the time, not even, and how to talk to them faster, how to commune with them faster, is that in that moment in time, and this takes practice, this takes time, you will notice that there's a harmonization. You have a harmonization. I've got a harmonization. We've all got a harmonization. That means that we all have our own frequency. Like, if you could think about, like, you know how people check out the frequencies of each individual crystals, what hertz it resonates at, you resonate at a hertz as well. So what happens is that if you spend enough time in your meditative state, you'll notice what your resonance is, meaning what your vibration is. So let's say, for example, mine is he, like, let's say that's mine. Let's call it 721 hertz, okay? Let's say I'm always at that he feeling. So if you inside feel that you're harmonized within your own resonance, meaning your own he, I'm sorry this sounds weird, but I got to do it this way. You'll notice that once you harmonize with yourself, it's like a lock-in occurs, okay? You've locked in, you've rooted down your resonance, and that kind of tethers you to the earth. Let's just put it that way. Let's just say, you know how a rock has its own resonance, and when you drop it to the ground, it's like it's grounded to the ground. It's kind of the same idea when you're doing any form of meditation or root work, let's just say. So when you find that harmonization, you'll notice that you are very well aware of your own sound, your own resonance. And once you have that resonance, you'll start to notice that a higher self will have a exact resonance to you. The only difference is that that resonance may go higher. Okay, so instead of it being ee, it'll be like ee. Same sound, same vibration, just quickened, and it goes higher. Okay, so for example, if you're talking to your, let's say, 5D self, meaning the closest in proximity to your dimensional self, still higher, still got a lot of fruitful knowledge, especially because there's this really united bond right now in this stage of ascension that we're in. You'll notice that the harmonization is not that far high up on the ranking. But you'll notice that as you go higher in your higher self connection, the resonance is higher. And that also goes for you guys that are hearing a lot of chimings in the ears. The higher the pitch, the higher you're communicating with. Okay, so if you're feeling something like a little low, like that's a little lower. If you're feeling something here, that's more in this space, maybe 5. You go to like 6, 7, and it's like and then you go to like 9, you go higher, 12, it's all the same resonance, but the feeling, the quaking is the same. It's just higher in vibration. So I hope that helps. So if you do feel like you're communicating with yourself because it's your resonance, you'll know the vibration that you give off. As you accelerate in your dimensional selves, you'll notice that that quickening is getting faster and faster. The resonance goes more speedy as you raise in your own stream. Now, I know this might be wild for some of you out there, but you are not just this one being, okay? You got a lot of different avatars, let's just say, that are you as well, what I call aspects of the oversoul. The oversoul oversees in all dimensions, okay? The oversoul is you in its fullest capacity of the I am. So if you find that you want to connect with the oversoul, most of us, and I mean, I've meditated for many, many years, and it's not even about meditation. In some of the trances I've gone into with God, and some of the trances I've gone into with my higher selves, I have been very fortunate to touch, dip my proverbial baby toe in the sea of the oversoul. So please know this is not something that is easily attainable, especially because the thing is that as you migrate in consciousness here, because you have to understand, a lot of people feel like, oh, when this 5D shift happens, it's already happening. It's already underway. Okay. Now, the only thing that's changing is you. Okay. Now, what I will say, what this always reminds me of is that scene from The Matrix with the little boy and he has the spoon. And he's saying, it's not the spoon that bends, it's you that is bending. And that is exactly what is happening in this awakeness and this consciousness as it raises. It's not the world is going to shift to a degree, but it's really you that's shifting. You are raising your consciousness. So you'll notice that you don't have a place for a lot of lower-ended emotions anymore. The menial things that once entertained you, things like jealousy, rage, etc., let's say vanity, all these lower-ended emotions are just like getting suppressed because they just don't mean anything to you anymore. That means your consciousness is raising. You were probably like that in your older self, maybe 5, maybe 7 years ago, etc. Or in the last years, you've changed tremendously. So what you must understand is that you are the consciousness that is raising. You are the spoon that is bending. So as you raise in consciousness, you'll notice that you start to shift in your own environment. And once you are in that higher state, you'll notice your harmonization changes. It's the same harmony, like I said, but it's just higher. And you'll notice that once you start moving into that 5-dimensional consciousness, things get a lot easier to manifest. Things get a lot easier to connect to. Like I'll notice the more I do my work, the more I upgrade in my consciousness, the easier it is for me to communicate with others. I've noticed that I can just think about somebody calling me and they'll call me. I'm just trying to give you guys an example of like the more you raise your own consciousness, your own vibration. And that's what they mean by raising the vibration. The vibration is the same. It just quickens. That's all it is. The resonance, like I wish I could describe this any more better, but that's the best way. Your sound or your vibration is unique to you. There's no one on this planet that has your vibration. But a vibration can be quickened. It's much like when you're playing a guitar, right? You'll play the C chord over and over and over again, but you could strum it faster, make it vibrate faster. That's what it means to raise your vibration. It's still the same vibration, just quickened, okay? So I hope that helps, guys. That's my take on how to connect with you, how to know you're connecting with your higher self, and how to raise in your dimensional awareness. Bye for now. Love you lots.